Okay, well I'm going to go ahead and get started. This session is student collaboration with Google Apps for Education. And basically what I'm going to talk to you about today is going to be an intro to Google Apps and how both you and your students can use those to collaborate with one another, both in class and outside of class as well. We use these a lot in our department for teamwork and productivity, and so I thought I'd share with you some of the basic uses of these applications. My name is Melissa White, and I am an instructional designer with Academic Innovations and e-learning. And I'm hoping that we get some snow here soon. It's been unseasonably warm, but also icy. I'd like to get out skiing with my dog in the near future. So first, maybe we could go down the list, starting with the top, and have folks introduce themselves, maybe mention what classes you teach or what you do with the university, and what you came to learn about today. Were you all able to hear me just now? Looks like we had some folks in the room and then that just left. They may have been lurking just to make sure I didn't have any technical difficulties.
This is Ann. Should I go ahead since I seem to be at the top of the list now?
Yes,
Can you
please.
hear me?
Yep. I think Debbie was just checking to make sure I got set up okay.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so I'm from the Ketchikan campus. I'm an assistant professor of economics, and I teach asynchronous online economics courses there. And my name is Ann Spihar. Does that answer your question?
That's wonderful. Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cindy Trussell, and I am an associate professor of biology here in Kodiak. And I came to this session because I just finished up my Google Plus Hangout session, and I was curious what Melissa was going to highlight.
This is Lori Hart. I am from the Sitka campus. I'm currently teaching with the UAA School of Nursing, and we are opening a new medical assisting program. So I'm going to be heading that up and just looking for some great ways to organize and work with my students.
I am Stacy Fisher over in Kodiak, and I am the career coach for our medical office coding program, which is a fully distance program, and just seeing what's available and ways to interact with the students.
Hello, I'm Teague Whalen. I'm an assistant professor of humanities for the University of Alaska Southeast in Ketchikan. I teach both local face-to-face courses, online courses. I've tried some blended local and online courses. And this is my 6th year. And at the beginning, I was teaching asynchronous communication courses. And I really wanted the web camera technology at that time was not so great. The bandwidth wasn't so wonderful. Things are improving with Blackboard and Illuminate, but they're still not the quality of where I'd like to see it. And I'm interested in the Google apps and the Hangouts and what might be possible there. It's interesting to see that UAA has the Google package subscribed for all students. We don't have that at UAS. I know where we can access this, but we have to, do it on our own. So just more curious to learn what the possibilities are.
Hi, I'm Val Barber with faculty with the University of Alaska Fairbanks, but I actually am research faculty in extension. I've been teaching the Intro to Chem 103 for the Sitka campus. When I lived down there, I did it face-to-face, and then I put it online and have been doing that for about 6 years, I guess. And just trying to figure out new ways to interact with the students to make it more interactive and fun. I teach it synchronous, but I use the whiteboard. Thanks. Looking forward to learning more.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all very much. Debbie, did you want to introduce yourself? We just went down the list. It looks like you popped back into the room.
Sure, I'll pop on. I'm Debbie Canada. I'm a Title III Activity Director, E-Learning Instructional Specialist. Big dog title, meaning I'm an instructional designer and administrator. And I'm here to help support Melissa. We're part of the E-Tech Fair work group with the e-learning work group out of UAA.
Wonderful. Thank you, Debbie, and thank you all for sharing. I definitely want this to be informal, and so please go ahead and ask questions as I go along. It's meant to be interactive and collaborative, modeling some of the things we're going to talk about today. And so if at any point you're not seeing where I'm at, or the application sharing's not working, or if you have a question about a certain feature, please feel free to go ahead and chime in. So first, let me ask all of you, how many of you have how many of you use Gmail? I guess that's the first one question, kind of separate related questions. Okay, so all of you. And how many of you have used Google Drive and the Google Apps? Okay, so this session may be a lot of a refresher for you, but then that means that we can spend more time about how we can use the tools in our classrooms and learn from each other rather than me going through step-by-step of how to use them. Are all of you able to see my desktop? I'm in Google Drive right now in a folder view of E-Tech Fair Student Collaboration. Got a smiley face, thumbs up, check mark, yes. All right, this is making my day. My morning had a little rough start, so this is good. I was looking forward to this session. So what I'm going to basically, do all of you know how to get to the Google Drive apps? Do all of you use Google Drive? So now this question I'm going to ask open-ended, so please feel free to chime in. How do you access Google Drive? Do you use a Gmail account, or do you use a Google Apps for Education account without the email? How do you go about that?
I use Gmail. I use my Gmail account.
It looks like one of you mentioned, Debbie, you're just seeing the large gray block. Are you not seeing my web browser?
That's correct. Right on top of your browser that shows your drive, and there, every time it looks like you pull up a menu or something, it gets a big gray block.
I get the same thing.
Okay, let me try a different sharing option here. So how about now? Are you seeing me log into Google Apps at UA? No. Yes. Maybe.
We see the Google Apps browser window, you know, for logging in, but we don't actually see you typing or logging in. And I think that the web tour, when you do a login, because of the security features, don't allow us to see when you go through.
Okay, so let's see. But that should have worked with the application sharing.
Yeah, it should, but I think the drop-down menus, every time you pull a drop-down menu or something else, are you working on multiple screens or just one screen?
Just one screen. I'll just go ahead and try to share my whole desktop.
Yeah, that's usually better because then you can see the drop-downs. But when you share an application, the drop-down menus usually interfere.
All right. So let's try this. Are you all able to see my desktop with a Chrome browser in Drive? Good, thumbs up. Well, I thought I'd try it the other way because it's a little cleaner, but it looks like we'll do it this way, and hopefully my desktop's cleaned up enough that it's not too distracting for all of you. So I'm in Drive now from my UA account, and basically you can either create or upload content to Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and create a document. And I'm going to select Create and Share, so it'll have the same permissions as the whole folder. Wonderful. All of you can see it now. Super. Thank you, Debbie. Of course, you want to make sure you give your file a good name that's searchable within Drive. And then it basically works as any word processor, text editor would work. So you have your file settings up in the left navigation where you can create new documents, open documents, rename them, make copies. This is a really important feature when you're collaborating with others. We use this a lot when we create agendas for workshops like this. We make copies for the next time so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel and we can go ahead and borrow. I work with 4 other instructional designers in our office, and so we're always sharing with each other and repurposing the same agendas and sessions and building on them for improvement rather than starting fresh. And then exactly, Gina. You can make it a template. It's not quite a template in that it's not a fillable template that you may create with PDF or Word, but it's a template in that you're making a copy of it just like you would make a copy of a Word document, and then you can edit that and it doesn't change the original. Does that make sense? Great. So there's the edit section where you can undo, redo, view, different options for viewing, and I'm just going through these real quick because I know this is a refresher, but we're also recording the session, so I want to make sure to capture some of that. Insert, you can insert images, links, drawings, tables, all kinds of fun stuff. Formatting area, and then of course our handy spell check, word count, translations, all that fun stuff. What I want to go back to is file and sharing. Is everyone familiar with the sharing options in Google Drive? About half. So with your sharing options, and these are going to be different too if you're using your personal Gmail account to access Google Drive or if you're using the UA system, they're going to be different. So when I click Share, oh, I have to name my document. Looks like it'll let me skip it, but I'm going to share. So the default is set up to be the same permissions as the folder. So right now it's anyone with a link to this document can view it, which means anyone who has that exact link can view the document, but they, it wouldn't come up on, a search. They'd have to copy and paste that link in their browser or have a live link from me. I can also change this to be specific to people at UAA. So only people logged into UAA can have access to the particular document that I'm working on within Google Drive. And then there are additional options. So of course the least secure and most open would be a positive way to say that is that it's public on the web. Anyone can find it and access. There's no sign-in required. But I can still change this to just be view only, or anyone with the link can access it, and then I would want to change it to can edit. And so that's what I want to do for this session, right? Is that I want it private to this group and that people with the link can access it, but I don't want anyone to have to sign in to access it. I want you to be able to go ahead and use it. Does that make sense? And are you able to see the link sharing on my screen? That was a two-parter. Check and see if everyone's still with me. Excellent. And then, of course, you can share with specific people. So that's really important when, of course, for collaboration. You know, you may have, and I don't want to fill your head with too many ideas because I'd like to get those from you, but as some hints, you know, you could set up permissions where only you and another student have access to a particular document, or groups of students are sharing access to a particular document. Things of that nature, or it's open into an entire class. And so you could have a folder in Google Drive that's used for a particular class and set the permissions to reflect the class participants. And then, of course, you have the presentations application document type, which is very similar to PowerPoint, of course, to make presentations, and they have their own templates and everything that you can choose from. There are some fun ones in here. We're going to get in and play with this in a little bit. And then lastly, we have our, that I'm going to talk about today, though we might have time at the end, I'm sure, to explore some other things because it sounds like we have some experienced folks in the room, are the spreadsheets. And if you know how to use Excel, using the spreadsheets feature will be very similar to that as well. You can create formulas in here, and then you can also, of course, download the spreadsheet as an Excel document, an open document, PDF, etc. So if you prefer working, you know, if you want to have your spreadsheets managed in Google, but you work with someone or have a student that only will use Excel, then you can still download it as an Excel file and upload it back to Google Drive. So now I'm going to share a link because my preferred kind of facilitation method is that we all kind of get in and play. I'm going to share a link to a Google Doc. And what I'd like you to do is share ideas for how you might be able to use Google Docs in your course and challenges, questions you have. Because learning to use the tool right, not sometimes, you know, with a tool like Google, that can be the easy part. But what this looks like in a course can be challenging. You know, some things to think about is, you know, would you use it for graded assignments, peer reviews? Would it be used for group assignments or only shared with you? So things of that nature. And I also want to open it up. I have the microphone set for 6 simultaneous talkers, so please feel free to jump in verbally and share your ideas as well. It's very quiet, but I see there's a lot of concentration happening. And
Melissa, let me break the silence with a question here that I don't quite know how to write out. How do you organize with this? So if you've got one document and you've got these multiple views of the same document, are there multiple documents? That's the part that I'm unsure about.
when you said you're asking if, let me make sure I understand, multiple people are editing the document, are they creating their own versions, or is it still one version? Is that what you're asking?
Exactly.
That's a good question. So this is actually one document that we are all collaborating on. And as the creator, I am the owner for this document. And so something I can do if I own this document and I'm sharing it and want to make sure I know what changes have been made and everything is I can go to File and click on Revision History to see all the changes that have taken place, and I can actually revert to previous versions. So one thing that's very different with Google Doc and then Word or any other open office word processing application is that you don't have to click Save every time you make changes. It's automatically saving it for you and refreshing, which can be a little nerve-wracking if you don't see that save option or no. You just type things in and close out the window. And so I can give people permissions to have edit access to this document, which means that you can also copy it, but ultimately I'm the owner of it. But that is something that can happen if someone moved this document who had edit access from my file. And I had that happen to me. They moved it, and I didn't know where it was, so I had to go back and search for it and go to a previous revision, version of it, because they had not made a copy. Does that make sense?
It does. I don't understand the advantages to making them editors for it then.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm seeing disadvantages to making them, giving them editor privileges, but I'm not seeing advantages to it.
Sure. So definitely there are some disadvantages in terms of, you know, someone possibly moving the document or making changes to other work. You know, can some others chime in with maybe some of the advantages to having multiple editors? I want to share the mic.
We've used them in the peer review committee. We'll have a document that we're trying to create, and everyone will have input to the document, and so it's just put out there, and we can all provide our own examples for, you know, for example, and just basically edit it as we see fit, and then someone will go over those edits that actually owns the documents. And so it provides a very simple way for a number of people on a committee to make updates to a document, you know, simultaneously without passing the document around.
And I just want to say that when working with colleagues and with students, there's a certain level of trust, and once you have that, and you expect that they'll treat each other with respect and treat you with respect, it tends to work out so amazingly well, because then, unlike the Word versions of things or the Excel versions of things, you don't have 18 million versions with 18 different names after them, and then somebody has to do the job of going back and putting all the pieces back together. The final is the final, and in fact, when we created the eTech Fair schedule and website that you all have been linking from, Katie and Debbie and myself all had full access to be able to edit that, and of course we worked together while we did it, but at the same time, if we needed to make changes after our meeting was over, we all had the ability to do that, and work gets done faster that way.
And if you're worried about a lot of changes and who's making the changes, you have access to a history log, so you can see who's made changes. But even easier than that, in a couple of groups that I've worked in, we simply designate at the top in some, you know, stuff that'll be removed at the end, each person's name and the color they're going to use. And we've agreed to everybody use their colors. As you can see, you're all typing and it's all black, but you've got little different indicators by the way you've logged in. But we just assign colors, and you put the font in those particular colors. And then at the end, you just highlight the whole thing and turn it all back to black if you accept it. But it allows you to see, you know, different ideas people added, or when they've lined through things, or when they've moved things around, if you color code.
Those are all great points. Thank you for sharing. And I would add, too, that, you know, I wouldn't recommend, and I imagine this is, you know, you have your core group of people who are editing and collaborating on the document, right? But say I wanted to take these ideas, say we were part of a, you know, Google Drive, Google Docs committee, and I wanted to take these ideas and I wanted this core group to have access to edit it, but then I don't, anyone else I want to be able to just view the document. You can set it up that way. So I can share this with particular people rather than to edit and then another group to view, if that makes sense. So, of course, if you were sharing, like, say, descriptions of an assignment in a Google Doc or a syllabus even, you wouldn't want to allow students to edit that document. It would just cause you a headache more than anything else, if they accidentally were making modifications.
And I have one other comment about being able to share and yet not have things get messed up. So you can lock your primary document and then still let students make copies of it so they can make their own. And so that's in the past when I've set up spreadsheets that I've wanted them to use and didn't want the original set of data to be messed with. I can lock one and still allow them to, whereas maybe you can only do that in spreadsheets where you lock one spreadsheet. But anyhow, that allows for some safety features.
That's great, Cindy. I didn't know you could do that. Do you know where that is, or?
So, Melissa, I think it might only be in the spreadsheets now that I'm looking at those lists because it's under the File menu.
Okay, I'm going to jump over to the File menu. Spreadsheet settings. Nope.
And down in the get out of there, and then sheet 1 down here down at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can protect the sheet exactly.
Awesome. See, I learn something new every day too.
Now, I had a question about. It seems like we've had a track changes feature that was activated on the documents that we were updating, but I'm not seeing that here.
With the Google Docs, you have the revision history, though it sounds like Cindy's saying there may be a plugin, which I don't have. I have not used that before. So that's a good question and something I can follow up on.
I'm guessing it might be an add-on, right? I'm guessing.
That could be. And I just, the way that I've used Google Docs, the revision history and using color coding and things like that and the permission setting have been enough for me that I don't miss track changes for what I've used it for. So now I'm going to switch gears because you all have such great experience with this, and just do a little exercise in the Google presentation and then demonstrate for you how you can both publish and then embed Google presentations into Blackboard. Are you all seeing the Google presentation slide on my screen? Excellent. So this is just a fun activity to see if you all are able to add a slide, add your name, and then use the tool, the research tool, to add an image, a video, or a quote from within the Google presentation. So one of the great features of Google presentation is that you can embed content directly into your slides as you're going along and creating your presentation. So as you can see, I created, I have a turtle on my slide. Is everyone able to access that presentation? Do I have the permission set appropriately? Let me double check.
Is it the last link you put in the end of the chat box?
Yes, it is.
That takes me back to the previous document that we were working on.
All right, let me make sure I'm giving you the right link here. There we go. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't see all of your little friendly faces and icons in there, and I was all by myself, so it's good. Now I see everyone popping in there.
I've got to say, from a presenter point of view or from a teacher point of view, it's really nice to be able to see who's logged in to the document at any given time. You know, you don't always see that in, in Word, or if you're sharing something around, you have no idea who's working on it when, but now you get to see that, and that's a really cool feature, especially if you're working with students in
Debbie, did you say something else? I don't know if you just had a quick thought there or if you got cut off.
No, I was just saying how I appreciate being able to see who's in the document at any given time, especially if you're doing group work with students.
Oh, good. Okay. We got that. Good. Well, Debbie was talking too, and you're all adding your pictures since I didn't, cheated a little bit and put my image in ahead of time. Do you all see the group chat that I just sent? If you've joined the chat, then you will see there's also the possibility, so if you're working on a presentation with people and they're also online, you can have a chat window open as well, which is pretty cool. I love the images we're getting in here. So Valerie, I can demonstrate that. Thanks for adding your note. It looks like you've got your heading in there though and text, so that's a great start. You're going to go up to Tools and click on Research, and this is to demonstrate the research tool, and then you can either search everything in Google, images only, videos, scholarly work, quotes, dictionary, pretty much everything. I go ahead and go to images, and then I'm going to search for unicorns. And so now I have all these beautiful pictures of unicorns, and I can actually just drag it right over into the presentation. You can also add images through Insert and then Image. I chose to show you with the research tool just so you could see the different options for how, what kind of resources were available to you. And then also you can filter the images, not filter by the license or by free to use or modify. So that's pretty cool as well. Did anyone else have any questions or thoughts about how you might use this with your colleagues or with students, or how you could see students using this for group presentations?
I couldn't seem to do a cut and paste on it, even though it said I could. So I copied a picture and tried to paste it, and it didn't seem to take it. So I'm having success in uploading it, but anyway.
So for the Google applications, you have to use, on a Mac, it's Command-C to copy and Command-V to paste, I believe. So you have to use the copy and paste functions rather than the mouse. Does that make sense? And that takes some getting used to. I'm still getting used to that. I still try to copy and paste using my mouse, and it gives you, on a Mac anyway, it gives me a little notice, so I'll actually show you what happens. I'll close out some of these others, and I'll go to my page. So when I quote-unquote right-clicked and say I select paste, oh, it let me. So some screens, I guess it does let you paste. But I don't think it's gonna, it probably won't let you paste the pictures. So, but the keyboard shortcut should always work out for that.
Well, if I'm having difficulty seeing the chat that's going on, I see it from your desktop, but when I'm actually in the presentation, I'm not seeing it. Am I supposed to be?
So it looks like if you click on, there's an icon up at the top right. If you click on that chat icon, you should be able to see the chat. Did that work out? I see another person in there. Cindy, I'm glad you've had success with your students doing their presentations in here. That's great to hear.
I have had great success. I just think it really saves them so much time and anxiety. The one weird thing, Melissa, just so that you know, since you work and everybody else, if something is created in Google Presentations, it cannot be even if you download it as a PowerPoint, it doesn't load into Collaborate. There's something weird in the coding that happens, and so if it's created in here, you have to copy the whole thing into a brand new PowerPoint presentation before you can load it into Collaborate. A nice little glitch, but whatever, we figured it out and we're good to go.
Yeah, that is a challenge for sure, and thank you for sharing that. I'm glad that's captured in the recording, and that's why, you know, for this presentation, I have one slide that I created in PowerPoint for the title slide and loaded into Collaborate. And for, you know, sessions that I'm doing later this week, I probably will use PowerPoint so that I can upload them right into Collaborate, and that it'll be just an easier process. And then I'll put them back into Google Docs so that my colleagues can share them. So it always takes a few tools. Quickly, I want to show you how to publish to the web and then also to embed in Blackboard. So if I want to publish this, are you all still following my screen before I take off on a little mission? Great. I'm going to go down under File to Publish to the Web. And I can either create a link and I can add settings to auto-advance slides. This can be I've used this for my own assignments in a graduate course when I had to create a digital story with images. I actually used Google Presentations and Screencast-O-Matic and set the slides to advance, and then that way I didn't have to advance them as I was speaking. So there's several useful settings there just to keep in mind and places that you can share the link. If you want to embed the presentation, you can determine the slide size, and I usually, for Blackboard, put it as small or medium, and you'll see when in Blackboard the student opens it up. If you leave it at medium and definitely at large, it just takes up the whole screen, and it's a little messy. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy the iframe content here, the HTML code. Are you all seeing my Blackboard course shell? I hope. Wonderful. And I'm going to just create a discussion forum, but you can do this anywhere where there is the content editor. And there are a couple ways to add this content into Blackboard. One is to click on HTML and just copy and paste that iframe code into the HTML area. And let me know if I'm going too fast. I don't want to take, sometimes I take for granted in one session that people have exposure to other tools and applications, and that might not be the case. So please let me know if you have questions as I'm going along. And then I'm going to submit. And now it's embedded. Oh, is that Jane McGonigal?
Yes.
Awesome. Our dream is to have her come up and speak. Do you know her? Do you have connections?
I don't. I've just kind of discovered her. I'm reading her book right now for some ideas I want to do in my curriculum. I would love to hear her.
Wonderful. I will have to touch base with you. We're having a Serious Fun Games Gathering education event in April.
Oh,
next
please
year.
do. That would be great to hear. Yeah, and join.
So, excellent. Yeah, I will definitely touch base with you on that. Okay. Fun segues. So as you can see, the Google presentation is now embedded in Blackboard. The students can see it and navigate through the presentation. And then every time you make updates to this, it will show the updates because it's linking. Oh, that's so cute. What great pictures. This is awesome. The other way to add the presentation, which I don't normally use, but I want to make sure I show it, is to insert, edit, embed media with the little media icon and copy in a source code. And then insert, and it will appear the same. I think there's a couple more steps to that one, but it's really what you're comfortable with. Have any of you embedded Google presentations or any materials into your Blackboard course shells? It's pretty slick looking, right? I mean, all of a sudden, your Blackboard course can go from, you know, having the standard content you have in there to having these embedded multimedia, and your students are going to be so appreciative of that. So that's all I have for today. I know that that was a pretty basic run through, but I hope that you all at least got some ideas from your colleagues, and I will go ahead and share in the chat again the folder that all of these materials are saved in so that you can access those. The agenda in particular includes a link to information on Google Apps for Education if you want to get more familiar with it and look at some of their tutorials. They are very helpful. And I believe it was Cindy who said that she actually did a session on Google Hangouts yesterday, and that was recorded. So you all will be able to watch that and check that out as well. Does anyone have any questions now that we're wrapping up?